Hey everyone, it's Cassimus Lego, and this time I'm going to be doing a single showcase on my custom Lego Andor minifigure from the Disney Plus series of the same name, and just in time for the finale of Season 1. I would have loved to make more characters from the show, but since the beginning of November, I've devoted all of my free time to making the 10 Return of the King figures that I'm planning, so that's why you're seeing just this one figure. I do, however, have the Luthen Rael minifigure in case I want to do some photos of them together, and I also just wanted a Stellan Skarsgård head to give to my Baron Harkonnen figure, so that's cool. But anyway, my expectations for the series were pretty low, I've gotta say, especially coming off of both the Book of Boba Fett and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, but I began to feel that glimmer of hope that I had with every piece of modern Star Wars when the first trailer was released. Still cautious, but I was interested. And as soon as the first 3 episodes premiered, I was surprised to find that I liked it, even amidst a sea of complaints that the pacing was too slow. But for me, each episode just got better and better, focusing its story not on characters we all know and love, but on the everyman, the average worker, and the political specter across the galaxy. This video will not be a review of the show in any way, but I've gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed Andor. I definitely recommend it if you haven't given the show its well-deserved chance. And yeah, here I have a singular showcase on my custom Cassian Andor minifigure, and we'll go ahead and get a close-up look at him. So Rogue One has always been my favorite piece of Disney Lucasfilm, and I didn't realize the potential backstory of one of its main lead characters, Diego Luna's Cassian Andor, and I made the figure a few ways back, maybe 3 weeks ago, but I've been saving him for the finale, and I hope that you enjoy the figure. I don't expect this to be a very long video, but there's still a lot to go over, and we'll start with his Briar pistol. The pistol was made from a standard LEGO Star Wars Imperial blaster that I heavily modified. I cut up the front and back, removed the scope from the top, and sanded the majority of the sides in order to reshape the base. I then sculpted the rest of the details, each in their own respective sculpting session, so that I didn't ruin any of the other pieces while sculpting. Finally, I painted the blaster in all of the necessary colors that you see, that being the gunmetal and the bolts made in sterling silver. I actually really like the sculpting I did on the top, depicting those rounded rib details. I had to slowly cut into my sculpt to get those indented lines, and of course, making sure I didn't get the lines too close to one another was a challenge, but either way, I think it came out great. So for the rest of the figure, I wanted to make the outfit that Diego Luna seemed to be wearing in all of those promotional photos for Vanity Fair that came back in May, I believe it was, and personally, I prefer this outfit much more than the attire plastered over every single image when you search for Andor on Google, because I saw all of those clashing colors, and I immediately didn't like it. Admittedly, reference for this outfit wasn't as easy to find outside of those Vanity Fair photos and some images of the costume on display at Comic-Con, and so I allowed myself to pick and choose my favorite details to make the best possible version of the character that I could. The torso came out really nice. I love the lighter brown line work that I did to represent not only the seams of the jacket, but also the pockets on either side. They came out really clean and surprisingly wasn't as difficult as I was expecting to paint. I stayed away from using E-tape or any other type of 3D element and resorted to simply painting them on, which I think keeps that simplistic look I like for my figures. You can also see the silver zipper painted in gunmetal gray, and I really like how the collar flops over the painted jacket. It looks really fluent in my opinion. The legs also have some lighter gray painted lines representing the knee texturing that I did, and also the thigh pockets. The belt is a 3D strip of E-tape that wraps around to the back of the hip piece hidden by the fabric trench coat. And actually there is a 3D holster underneath the fabric on the right leg, but I don't want to remove it because the fabric is pretty fragile, and at this point I don't want to get any more fingerprints on the arms. And speaking of which, this trench coat of course is fully custom and has 2 fabric pockets on the front of both sides. I folded over the tops to form the lapels, and I outlined the edges with a lighter chestnut color. The pockets have that outline feature as well. The details on the coat were by far the most confusing part of making this figure. I couldn't really tell what these details were from all the references that I had, so I just painted what I thought looked the most accurate, which are these straps almost, and they are painted in a custom darker brown color that I had to mix. He's got these copper painted buckles on the overlapping straps, and these details even stretch to the back of the trench coat where I painted this completely unique design. I have no idea how accurate this is, and in fact, this outfit hadn't appeared in the show when I made it, and even as I'm writing this video, it still hasn't, so I guess we'll have to see how close I ended up being. But either way, I still think it looks completely consistent with the rest of the figure, so I like it. The arms continue those darker brown straps, but those are painted on 3D strips of E-tape, and I painted buckles in a gold color too. I gave Andor a pair of custom glove tops, and I painted them in the same brown color of the trench coat to make it look like the jacket is going over the black gloves. The Diego Luna face was completely painted by myself on a standard light nougat minifigure head. I stared at images comparing the actors in the show, and I do not agree with LEGO's decision to print their new likeness on that newest skin tone. I just don't think it was totally that necessary. Diego Luna doesn't necessarily have that darker skin tone, and as I mentioned, especially compared to the other actors in the show. It's a great print, and I even took some inspiration from it, but I decided that a custom painted head was going to be the best option for this custom, and I'm quite pleased on how it turned out. The hair is also a great choice. It's the Lloyd Garmadon hairpiece from the LEGO Ninjago movie, and it perfectly captures Luna's longer, shaggier hair on the younger version of his character. And to add some more details, I elected to wash the hairpiece in black. So anyway, I think this figure turned out great, and I'm really glad I had the time to make the protagonist of my favorite Disney Star Wars project in recent years, and without taking any more of your time, we can go ahead and wrap up the video. Alright, so that's it. Thank you for watching this quick showcase on my custom LEGO Cassian Andor minifigure. I hope you enjoyed all of the little details I was able to represent with my skill set in bringing this character to life. I can't wait to see what he'll get himself into prior to the events of Rogue One, assuming a Season 2 isn't ruined, so I suppose we're back to where we started. But if Tony Gilroy is confirmed to return, I'll have my faith. I've taken a long enough break from my Return of the King figures to make this video, so I'd better get back to work. Remember to follow my social media pages if you want to keep up with all of my work. Best place to see all my edits and work in progress photos is my Instagram, and you can find links in the description below. Once again, thanks for checking out this showcase video, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.